boss forced us to work on July 4th, so I threw a $6,000 office party on their dime. It started on Monday the 13th, when I got an email from a vice president who wasn't even over my department. She announced that my entire IT team would be required to work on July 4th. I politely told her no. Our schedule had the holiday off, and people already had plans with their families, but IT always gets shafted, and I could already tell this was going to be a fight. I let my team know what was happening, and I promised them I was trying to get it reversed. I even emailed the CEO, who was known to be big on family and holidays. The problem was, he was on vacation in the Bahamas until July 6th, which meant his response would come too late. My gut told me we'd be stuck working. I tried to soften the blow by telling my team we'd work from home, with all calls routed to my cell. I wasn't expecting many calls anyway, but then the same VP dropped another bomb. Everyone had to be physically in the office. They were even going to check badge swipes to make sure no one was skipping out. Her reason? She didn't want anyone playing video games at home, which is ironic, because we normally worked remote most of the week, and video games were a pretty normal sight in the office anyway. I went to her office and tried to reason with her, but she wasn't having it. In fact, she looked me dead in the eye and said, "It's just IT. You guys don't have lives." I don't think I've ever been insulted like that in a professional setting before. I reported it to my actual VP, and all he said was, "Get creative." I'd worked with him long enough to know that was code for, "Go have some fun with this." So I asked if we could at least have an office party since we were being forced in. She smirked and said, "Sure, go wild. Use your company card if you want. Never tell me, go wild." By the next week I had a plan. I called my team together and told them to invite their families and friends to the office that evening. They wouldn't need to bring a thing. Food, entertainment, everything would be handled. And if anyone wanted fireworks, we had a little trick. The patio behind our office crossed county lines once you went over a footbridge. That meant as long as fireworks stayed across the creek, they weren't technically on company property. July 4th came, and as expected, the phones were silent. Well, except for 7 calls from the same VP, just checking to make sure we were there. Otherwise, nothing. We spent the day playing games and watching movies. Around 6 p.m., I told everyone the food was ready. They were expecting a few hot dogs and hamburgers. What they got was a catered feast that could have rivaled a wedding reception. We had smoked brisket, spare ribs, turkey, sausages, hamburgers, brat dogs, 2 different potato salads, coleslaw, green beans with bacon, pizza from 2 different restaurants, cakes, pies, cookies, and more. Drinks were stacked high. It was a full-on banquet, and when families started arriving, jaws dropped. People couldn't believe this was a mandatory workday. The best part? My VP showed up with his family. He didn't just back me up, he brought water balloons for the kids. Around sunset, we all crossed the footbridge, set up a launch pad in the field, and lit up the sky with fireworks. Everyone was laughing, kids running around, people stuffing themselves with food, and for once, my IT team actually felt celebrated instead of treated like second-class employees. At 7:50, the VP called again. I picked up and told her, "You're the only one who called today. We're on the back patio enjoying our 4th of July shindig." She just said, "As long as no alcohol or fireworks are on company property, I don't care." Perfect. By the end of the night, leftovers were packed up, families thanked us, and we all left with smiles on our faces. A small crew stayed late to clean, including my VP, who asked how much the whole thing cost. I just gave him a look, and he laughed. The next morning, I submitted the expense report. The total, over $6,000. That party became the most expensive in company history, and it triggered a brand new rule. Any expense over $4,000 now needed multiple levels of approval. When the CEO got back from vacation and saw what happened, he wasn't angry at me. He was furious at the VP, who forced IT to work. He sent out a scathing company-wide email about work-life balance, tore into upper management, and personally showed up to our office to yell at her. Word spread fast that she'd admitted to saying IT doesn't have lives. I don't know if she was fired, but she disappeared from the office and lost whatever clout she had left. As for me, my team got to keep working from home without any more pushback. And every time someone mentions that $6,000 barbecue, the only thing I can think is, worth every penny.